You know, me and Kirk have been in this child support court situation for over a year now.
Right.
The first time I went through it, I kind of let it go because I let him convince me to.
Yeah.
And this time around, I'm not budging. He gives me $1,000 a month.
What? That's crazy.
$1,000 a month. I don't understand it. Like, how?
And he's still battling me, saying, what 8-year-old needs $1,000?
I thought we finally settled on the money amount a few months back at the Cyphers of the A concert.
So the amount of money that I sent you, that's the number you cool with, right?
Yes.
So we can end this lawyer.
Period. But typical Kirk backed out on our agreement of the amount that he was supposed to give me. So I had to take Kirk to court to get a reasonable amount of child support because $1,000 a month just isn't doing it. We had our preliminary trial, and Kirk is now trying to countersue for full custody.
Full custody?
Stop it.
I can count on my hand in the last year how many times he's seen Cannon.
I don't know where the delusion lies because he really thinks that he goes above and beyond. You just started getting Cannon that one weekend a month.
Cannon's with me 10 times more than he's ever.
Right.
Exactly.
This delusion is just going above and beyond. Cannon calls that man Yaya. He don't even call him
Daddy.
He calls me dad because he wants so bad to identify with a father figure.
Yeah.
And it's not making sense to him because I don't even see you, man. So, like, custody is nuts.
The fact that Kirk is going for full custody is up to me. Cannon doesn't even know how he fits into your family, into your life as it is. In my heart, I feel like it's just another tactic that he's pulling
Most definitely.
to get away from paying me whatever he's supposed to pay me, or maybe he's trying to scare me into settling. But that man does not want full custody because he was offered 2 weekends a month and didn't even want that.
He's mad because you called him out.
Kirk is doing this because he's mad and he doesn't want to pay child support. But now he's not the only one that's mad. Now I'm mad. What he's doing by countersuing me for full custody is up. If he thought I was calling him names before, oh, you just wait, baby. I just feel like I'm at my wit's end.
There better be some kind of
Listen,
civilized solution.
I tried. I done chased Rashida around at one point. Now I'm not chasing Rashida around. Now her friends want me to chase her around. And did that. Backfired. Rashida don't want to talk to me. Like, I'm done.
So I don't want you to give up on it. I know the court might be the final say so, but at the end of the day, y'all gonna have to work this out. I just want for Cannon to have a good relationship with his father. I want for y'all to have a good relationship because at the end of the day, Cannon deserves that. At this point, they need an olive branch. They need something.
I'll never.
Wow.
The evening sky glowed with shades of gold and soft purple as the sun slowly sank behind the horizon. It was the kind of sunset that should have brought a sense of peace, a quiet reminder of the world's beauty. But inside Rod Bullock's house, there was no such calm. The air was thick with tension, heavy like a storm waiting to break. Jasmine stood still in the middle of the living room, unable to move. Her breath caught in her throat, her heart pounding so loudly she could hear it in her ears. Rod's words hung in the air, sinking into her like stones in deep water. It was as if the very walls had closed in, pressing against her chest, making it hard to breathe. Her mind raced, trying to process what had just been said. The room, which had once felt familiar and safe, suddenly seemed cold and foreign. She wanted to speak, to respond, but no words came. Instead, a heavy silence stretched between them, filled with things unsaid. Rod stood across from her, his expression unreadable. His posture was firm, almost unmoving, as if he had already decided how this moment would play out. His eyes, usually warm, held something distant now, something final. Jasmine swallowed hard, willing herself to stay calm, but the emotions inside her twisted like a knot she couldn't untangle. She wanted to believe she had misheard, that somehow she had misunderstood. But the truth was clear. It was there in his voice, in the way he wouldn't quite meet her gaze. The weight of it all pressed down on her shoulders. Memories flooded. Her mind, laughter, whispered conversations late at night, the way things used to be before everything changed. And now, here they were, standing in the same space yet feeling miles apart. She clenched her fists, trying to steady herself, but The ache in her chest only grew. She had thought she was prepared for anything, but nothing could have braced her for this. Outside, the last light of the day faded into darkness. But inside, in that quiet, suffocating space, Jasmine felt as though the sun had set on something much greater than just the day.
Life is rough out here, bro. Life is rough.
I'm glad you came, bro.
Definitely appreciate you, doing the stuff you do. Ken has been around you since you've been born. I'm sure you're aware of all the issues.
It's been rough on everybody, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I wanted to sit down with you and have a real conversation, father to father. Because she mentions to me this whole custody thing, and now Kirk wants full custody, and of course I lost it when I first heard it. Yeah. Come on, that's crazy.
First of all, we're in court, not for me, we're in court because of her. I'm not saying she's a bad parent, because she's not. I do think she has to go through a lot in order to maintain that one little boy and do things as a mother.
I mean, is this dude really trying to come at Jazz? It's a little ironic coming from a man who does the bare minimum. I mean, your own son doesn't identify you as his dad. For the past 8 years, it's kind of just been her. You know what I'm saying? Now, we've all contributed. I'm just saying, nobody's in her situation.
Is it about money, or is it about me taking care of my child? I'm almost 204 or 5,000 in on this kid, right? What she says is I don't do enough, but I've always taken care of Cannon. I've always paid all my child support. I've always paid anything you need. Your car broke, you need $4,300, here you go. I need to pay for a rented car, here you go.
Yeah, she totally tells me it's bare minimum.
Just in my Cash App alone.
I get that you're paying.
That's just in Cash App. You can read what they're for. You can read the dates. You can read down to birthday money. You can scroll as long as you want. Again, I did not bring us here in front of the court. So this is her doing.
I came here today to defend you, Jasmine. And the whole time, you've been lying to me. I look like an idiot. I mean, I still want to try to find some middle ground between her and Kirk. But I'm not happy about this right now. I don't know the intricate details. I'm not privy to those conversations. I just don't understand, why it's full custody all of a sudden.
No matter what, when we look back, this is my child. I don't want my child to question me on, Dad, why didn't you make sure I was good in life? My focus is Cannon, his future, schooling, living, and life. That's it. And I respect Rod for trying to help mediate, but it's not gonna all be fixed in one night. Let's continue to build, man. You know what I'm saying? I think we'll get there,
Yeah.
All right? Appreciate you taking your time out, all right?
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this, Jasmine. You need to leave. Rod's voice was sharp, stripped of the warmth it once held. The words hit her like a slap, each syllable sinking into her chest like a stone. The walls of the room felt like they were closing in, suffocating her, squeezing the air from her lungs. She had heard those words before, maybe not exactly like this, but close enough. Yet this time, there was no hesitation in his voice, no lingering softness. It wasn't an argument she could talk her way out of, not a fight that could be fixed, with promises she wasn't sure she could keep. No, this was different. This was final. Her eyes burned as she tried to hold back tears, her mind racing to find something, anything, to say that would make him change his mind. But Rod wasn't looking at her with frustration or even disappointment. He was just done. He wouldn't even meet her gaze, as if looking at her would weaken his resolve. "Rod, please," she whispered, her voice barely holding together. "I don't have anywhere else to go." Rod crossed his arms, his body stiff, his jaw clenched. He had tried. God, he had tried. He had given her chance after chance, hoping she would change, believing in her when she didn't even believe in herself. But every time, it led back to the same place. Broken promises, bad decisions, the weight of her chaos pulling them both down. "You don't get it, Jasmine," he said, his voice colder than she had ever heard it. "I can't keep sacrificing myself. For you. I'm done. I have my own life to live." The words cut deep, slicing through her like a blade. She didn't know how long she stood there, her feet frozen in place, her thoughts tangled in a mess of confusion and regret. She had come here hoping for comfort, maybe even a second chance. Instead, she was being cast out like a stranger. "Rod, I don't want to hear it," he interrupted, his tone flat. Just go. Jasmine felt a surge of anger rise in her chest, but it faded almost instantly, replaced by an overwhelming sense of defeat. What was the point of fighting? She had already lost. With a heavy heart, she turned toward the door. Every step felt heavier than the last, as if she were walking through quicksand, each movement pulling her deeper into the reality she wasn't ready to face. The moment she stepped outside, the cool night air hit her like a shock to the system. The street was eerily quiet, the sky painted in deep blues and purples. It was the kind of peaceful night that should have felt calming, but to her, it only made the emptiness inside her feel even worse. She hesitated, looking back at the house, the place that had once been her home, her safe space. Now it was just another reminder of everything she had lost. Her hands trembled as she reached into her pocket, pulling out her phone. She stared at the screen for a long moment before dialing a number she had sworn she would never call again. The phone rang. Each passing second made the knot in her stomach tighten. Then finally, a familiar voice answered. Jasmine? Her breath hitched at the sound of Kirk Frost's voice. It had been so long since she had last spoken to him, but his voice still carried that same deep, steady tone. She hesitated. She had kept her distance from him for a reason. Their past was messy, full of passion, mistakes, and wounds that never fully healed. And yet, here she was, reaching out to him, because there was no one else left. Kirk, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I need your help. Rod kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. Silence. She could hear him breathing on the other end, could almost picture him leaning back, processing her words. She knew he had every reason to be skeptical. She had burned a lot of bridges, and Kirk had always been too smart to let his guard down easily. Finally, he spoke, his tone cautious, but not unkind. You're asking me for money? Jasmine swallowed. Hard. I have no choice. Please, just this once. Another long pause. She could almost hear the battle happening in his head, weighing whether or not she was worth the risk. She fought back the sting of humiliation. Asking for help was never easy, but asking Kirk? That was a different level of painful. She had no pride left, no dignity to hold on to. She just needed a way out. After what felt like an eternity, he let out a slow breath. All right, he said. I'll help you. But Jasmine, you have to get it together. This can't be your life. You need to start making better choices. She nodded, even though he couldn't see her. I know. I will. I promise. She could hear the doubt in his voice, but he didn't argue. Later that night, she found herself standing in front of Kirk's apartment building. The city lights reflected off the wet pavement, casting a golden glow around her. She took a deep breath before knocking on his door, unsure of what to expect. When he opened it, his face was unreadable. No anger, no warmth, just quiet no.